Can you hear it? It's the sound of quiet. The puppy is at work with Mommy Lisa today. Hi, readers. Welcome. Welcome back. It is a quiet, quiet day, and I'm taking advantage of it by trying to record some content today and just kind of get myself into a peaceful state working wise. It's been a long time since we had a 6-week-old puppy, and she is a handful and a half. But today I'm coming to talk to you about some digital content that I've been sent, either as a "Would you like to read this book" by Book Sirens or as an ARC from NetGalley. I do have one I requested from Tertulia from their salon, but I haven't received it. They usually send a physical copy, but I haven't gotten anything from them yet, so probably not going to receive anything from them. But if I do, I'll definitely let you know in the hall. And I have one title that's on my Nook, and it's been on my Nook for a while, and we're going to talk about that one today too. So let's get started. So in a number of videos, I have brought forward the notion of reading big books this year, and I was just sort of chastising myself recently about how I'm not getting there. And that made me think about a special book that has been inside of my Nook library for a long time, and I also own it physically, and that is 11/22/63. This is one of the ones that I put forward as a possibility for my big book reading. There's no question this is a big book. Holy cow, Stephen King. I don't know how or why you do it, but you definitely do. There's a lot of other things here. There's book discussions at the end. There's an acknowledgement page. I would say 850 or so pages physically this is, but I've had it in my Nook, like I said, for a really long time. Is reading the Nook version going to be easy? No. The Nook version, the only way I can read that is on my iPad. And my iPad is pretty good size. You've heard me say before that one of the reasons I got the Kindle Paperwhite was because if I fell asleep, the iPad would hit me. But to be honest with you, I fell asleep the other night reading the Kindle and it hit me on the chest, and it was enough to wake me up. So I don't think that that would be any different with the iPad, but we'll see. So I can read it here, which I would like to. It's a nice floppy, heavy, I mean, really, this is just a beautiful book in so many ways. And I would like to start it very, very soon. So if you're not aware, this is an interesting premise by Stephen King. This is about the assassination of John F. Kennedy, but it is a different telling of how this might have occurred. So let me read you the premise of this because it's a little complicated, and I don't think I did in the big book summary. We never know which lives we influence or when or why. Not until the future eats the present anyway, we know when it's too late, which is a quote from the book. Life can turn on a dime or stumble into the extraordinary, as it does for Jake Epping, a divorced high school English teacher in small town Maine. While grading essays by his GED students, Jake reads about such a destined moment through a gruesome, enthralling piece penned by janitor Harry Dunning. 50 years earlier, Harry somehow survived his father's slaughter of the entire family. Jake is blown away, even as a more bizarre life-altering secret comes to light when his friend Al, owner of a local diner, enlists Jake to take over the mission that has become his obsession to prevent the Kennedy assassination. How? By stepping through a mysterious portal in the diner's storeroom and into the era of Ike and Elvis, of big American cars, sock hops, and cigarette smoke. Finding himself in warm-hearted Jody, Texas, Jake begins a new life, yet all turns on this treacherous road led straight to a troubled loner named Lee Harvey Oswald. The course of history is about to be rewritten. I could never have said this any better than he did on the synopsis, or somebody did, but yes, I am ready. I am ready. It is time. I knew it yesterday when I was filming a video about whether it was time to read a big book. That's the big book. The next one is a mystery to me, but it's not a mystery. It's horror. Really dark, horrible horror. Book Sirens sent me a list of books that I could pick up and read. I don't know if it's because this hasn't sold. It says it came out in October 2024. I don't know if that's the UK edition or if that's the US edition. I have no idea. It was published by House Press, Eighth House Press, sorry, and I've never heard of this author or this book before. So here's the premise of The London Check by Alan Longstreet. 1964, in a community named Katrine, there is a little boy named Aaron, and he has a friend named Craig, and then two other friends. They are orphans, and that is James and Gavin, and they all four go missing. And there's a man in the community whose name is Al, and Al keeps killing children and makes them into frozen statues in his garage. I know. Aaron's mother meets Al one day on a chance encounter, and she just gets a weird vibe. So my suspicion is that Aaron's mother is going to try to find out what's happened. I have no idea when this book really came out. It has 9 ratings. Those ratings are very high on Goodreads. They are real people, I'm pretty sure, not just the author or friends of the author. It says it's 2 stories weaved within a book, Stephanie says, but it's a slow burn and worth it. Another one says, haunting debut horror tale set in a picturesque yet ominous 1960s Scottish village of Katrine. So it's not in London. Not recommended to every reader, Gabe says. I can imagine. Fit to be made into a movie, Trina says, and gave it 5 stars. Switches back and forth a lot. We'll see. But this one was sent to me on Kindle, and it just, I don't know. It just seems the creepiest I've heard in a really long time. So the next ones are the ones that I received as ARCs from my Kindle, and I need to get to them. The first one is Murder by Cheesecake, which we've talked about, and I'm not going to bring it forward again, except to say it is a Golden Girls cozy mystery murder situation. And I've DNF'd it for the moment, but that's not to say I won't pick it up tomorrow. I just put it down. So there's that. It does come out April 15th. So if I were to get back to it, I would like to finish it fast. I mean, I could go till the end of the month and still feel good about it, but I'm not saying I don't love it yet. I'm going to give it another chance. I just put it down for several weeks. It just got to the point where I was like, no, this isn't right where I was in that moment. That wasn't working. Will I finish it? I'm not certain, but I will give it an old college try. The next one is Kristen Harmel, and this is The Stolen Life of Colette Marceau. I have not read anything by Kristen Harmel yet, but I am interested to get to this. It's a very pretty cover. I really like it. And this one is a sweeping historical drama about 2 jewel thieves, a priceless bracelet that disappears in 1940s Paris, and a quest for answers in a decades-old murder. Colette has been stealing jewels for as long as she can remember, following a centuries-old code of honor instilled in her by her mother, take only from the cruel and unkind. I guess we know one of the people in another book that she could steal from, and give to those in need. Never was their family tradition more important than 7 decades earlier during the Second World War, when Annabelle and Colette worked side by side in Paris to fund the French resistance. But in 1942, it all went wrong. Annabelle was arrested. Colette's 4-year-old sister, Liliane, disappeared. This is a very long synopsis. In the chaos of the raid, along with an exquisite diamond bracelet sewn into the hem of her nightgown for safekeeping. I'm not going to read you any more because I want to also personally not kind of know much more than that, except I think that's a proper setup. So we're going to stop with that. This comes out June 17th of 2025, and I am really interested in reading this. I feel like the universe said, read Kristen Harmel. And again, this is an estimated publication day, but June 17th is what we're thinking now. And on NetGalley, it has a few ratings, 164, and it's rated at 4.52. So that's a good start. The next book is an author that I've never heard of from France, and I think also went through university in the UK. This is Clémence Michelon, and she has written a book called Our Last Resort, which comes out on July 8th. I'm super excited about this. She has written The Quiet Tenant, which was published in 2023 as well. So this is at least her second book. And I don't think that they're related. There seems to be no indication that they are. 15 years ago, Frida and her brother escaped a cult. I do like a cult book. Now her brother is the prime suspect in a murder investigation, and it isn't the first time. Innocence doesn't bail you out, it just makes it easier to trap you. Frida and Gabriel arrive seeking a fresh start at the stunning Ara Hotel in the secluded desert of Escalante, Utah. Once so close, they were able to finish each other's sentences, but they've grown apart in recent years after a sudden, unspeakable tragedy. Now at the Luxe Resort, they are ready to reconnect between dips in the pool and hikes on spectacular desert trails. It feels like paradise until the dead body of a beautiful young woman who was vacationing at the Ara with her powerful, much older husband is discovered. Suspicion quickly falls on Gabriel, and Frida is forced to revisit memories from their upbringing in a cloistered cult in upstate New York. Yes, it sounds good to me. And again, this one comes out on July 8th, and this is a fairly new author, I would say, and definitely a new author to me. So I am delighted to have received that one. All right, the next one is The Unraveling of Julia by Lisa Scottoline. I have said it incorrectly more than once because I have a friend whose name is Scottolini, spelled the same way. So you can understand my misunderstanding this, but I got it right. I do this all the time. Poor authors. I feel like they must say, can't that girl on BookTube ever listen to what our name actually is? Today I did do that. Okay, so this has a beautiful cover. I've read one book by Lisa Scottoline. It was What Happened to the Bennetts. And then I also have The Truth About the Devlins on my shelf. And I'd like to get to that sooner than later. But this one comes out July 15th, so I definitely want to get a hold on this fairly soon. This one is about a woman who inherits a Tuscan villa. This is taking me all over the world, this Kindle situation. And she has lost her parents. She's adopted. She's lost her husband. She's just got all kinds of stuff happening that is unraveling her. All right? Poor Julia. She feels like her fate is not her own. And then she receives a letter from a woman named Emilia Rossi, who says she's inherited a Tuscan villa. And Julia doesn't have any information about her biological family, so you would assume that her next likely thought is that this is her family, that somebody from her family has left her this home. And so she's off to Tuscany to find out whether or not this is her family. But there she discovers that Emilia Rossi is a paranoid, reclusive woman with delusions of grandeur and believes herself to be a descendant of Duchess Caterina Storza. So what happens to Julia and to Emilia is probably a complex situation, but it says it's a psychological thriller. So I'm all in, and I was grateful to have been given the opportunity to read this early. So that will be the last one that comes out in this group. I would say that the one I'm excited the most about, it's really hard, isn't it? Maybe that one. I don't know. Tell me in the comments below which one you're most excited about. I will try to remember not to talk about these again on my most anticipated reads for those months, but there's no guarantee that I won't. But I may have read them by then, so they might be in a reading wrap-up. We'll see how I do. I'm trying to, again, kind of be intentional, think ahead for my pile of possibilities. I'm a little behind on Murder by Cheesecake, but essentially that's just because I had to put it down. But let me know if you think any of these might work for you. Let me know if you have read anything by these authors. If any of you have read the London Check, please let me know if this one is going to kill me or lose sleep or whatever might happen. But that just sounds super intense, maybe even slightly intense for me, the lover of horror. And then let me know if you've read this chunker too, because I really want to have some encouragement that I can finish this. I want to believe that I can finish this. And again, I might end up doing a combination of both this and the Nook version. It's just so much easier to take a Nook than it is to take. I should have weighed this. I mean, seriously, this must weigh, I don't know, a good bit. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining me today for this video. Again, let me know in the comments below that you were here by either letting me know if you're interested in any of these ARCs, what ARCs have you received, if any, and what are you looking forward to reading as a result of that. And then if you don't want to put anything in the comments below, you could put an emoji, and let's make that emoji let's make it a glass of champagne, because we're in France more than once, and we'll toast to new adventures with new arcs. Thanks again, and as always, happy reading. Bye.